cause of marital friction after children arrive on the scene is sex, or, in fact, the lack of it. Matching male libido with female exhaustion is the cause, but our guest, sex coach Jacqueline Hillier, has some positive, sexy solutions. Ooh. So, Jacqueline, as a coach, do you hold a stopwatch and go stroke, stroke, stroke?
I haven't had to as yet. No, what I look at more is how you manage your life so that when you actually get into the marital bed, you have enough energy and the right attitude so you can actually enjoy yourself.
It's all about strategies, really, isn't it?
A lot of it is about strategies. It's about how you live your life so that you can have a good sex life as well.
I like the phases, because there was phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And phase 1 is basically when you've just had the baby and you might still be feeling very sore. You've probably got sore nipples from breastfeeding. Yeah. And also there's a body image thing. I mean, you're still losing the post-baby weight and you're just not feeling so fabulous. But there's buttered muffin sex, which means you just lie there and let him do all the work and groan if you can be bothered.
Exactly. You really studied the book, didn't you?
I did study the book. I thought it was great. And then what's the next phase?
Okay, after that initial phase where you're having the buttered muffin sex, where ladies you adopt the worship me pose. Sort of groan if you can be bothered. Not necessary though.
No, more like
Oh, right, sorry.
Yes.
Coach the groan.
Yeah, we can talk later.
Yeah.
Yeah, after that, then you get into phase 2, and you can have what I call chocolate cake sex.
Yeah.
Right. You know what it is, but it still tastes good.
Yeah, you could describe it like that. Chocolate cake is always good, isn't it? It has slight variations, but it's always good. Pretty much the same, but always good. That's what your chocolate cake sex is like. Okay, you've got over the worst initial phase where you're just so exhausted, that's all you can do is lie there. You might have a little bit more energy, a little bit more enthusiasm, but probably you'll do what works best for you as a couple, what you know works. Okay, so don't lie there and think, oh, God, we're so boring, you know, why do we just do the same thing all the time? Say, no, we're parents of young children. We're having chocolate cake sex.
Enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah.
Phase 3.
Phase 3. Okay, there is a stage. It's not automatic. Okay, you only get to phase 3 if you have appropriate sex during phases 1 and 2. Okay. There does come a time when you've got more energy. Children can stay at their grandparents. They can get their own breakfast and watch telly by themselves, so you can sleep in both at the same time. Okay, and then you can access the full delights of dessert trolley sex.
Dessert trolley sex.
You see, this sort of bothers me, this dessert trolley sex, because whenever I indulge in dessert trolley, the next morning I'm always thinking, oh, God, why did I do that?
I'm on Jenny Craig.
Exactly, and you know, like all these sexual positions.
Jelly on the sheets.
Could be.
What I want to know is a lot of women don't feel like sex at all.
Exactly.
There's something goes on in their brain and they're just like, oh, God, I just don't want to, and I don't want to get pregnant again after going through that. How do you come over that psychologically? Do you force yourself to get in the mood, or should you just go there and hope that the mood will come along with the physicalities of it?
Yeah, you need to realise that it's not going to be like it was when you first fell in love with your partner. Okay, you're not going to look at him and think, oh, yeah, okay, that doesn't happen. You've seen him picking his nose too often and stuff like that, okay? So what you need to realise is you can actually have fabulous sex without being in the mood to get started.
Are you saying fake it till you make it?
No, I'm saying, guys, take me, get me in the mood, all right?
Work for it, fella.
Yeah, basically.
And also the understanding of the difference between arousal and desire, because desire is an emotional
That's
thing.
the thing with men and women, isn't it?
It's the difference. You see, he's probably aroused most of the time, but unless he can, because my experience is that once I was aroused, I was fine, I was into it, but it was getting me over that obstacle of getting to that point.
Yes. And men need to realise that they have a very important role in getting their partner aroused.
Now, I would like to know
Rather than just this.
How about it? Yeah, exactly.
Come to my bedroom, if they're having separate bedrooms we were talking about before. What I really want to know is I had a friend who, it was actually the male partner that lost his sex drive. So what happens there? And I think sometimes men can actually, their libido can fall from when the woman gets pregnant. I don't know whether they think they're fragile and, God, they're holding this baby, and then they see them in a different light. They see them as a mother rather than their partner. What can you do there?
Okay, you have to realise in those sorts of situations that you sometimes have to create the opportunity for sex, and it can be hard for a man, you know, if he's seeing the, you know, the baby there and she's all obsessed, you know, she's not going to look that sexy, really. Okay. Now, I'm not saying to the ladies, because I get accused of this all the time, that ladies, you've got to be sexy all the time. But sometimes you have to create an atmosphere that is conducive to the both of you, okay?
Yeah. Take the maternity bra off.
For a start, you know, how hard is it to put a little bit, you know, just make small efforts, okay? I'm not saying put a lot of effort into this, but just some very small little changes can make quite a difference.
I'm just so fascinated as to how you became involved in all of this. Like, I read that you're studying for your Masters of Sexology.
Yes, that's right.
How does one study for a Masters of Sexology? What do you do? Field work?
Not yet, but
you will.
How does your husband feel? Like, is he like, are you like, honey, you're getting it a bit wrong. We go outside and come in again.
We did have fun researching the book. When we heard about nookie dates,
Yes, I love nookie dates where you actually make a plan. So it's not spontaneous sex, but you know that 4:30 Friday afternoon when the kids are at soccer, ooh, it's all going to be happening.
Exactly. It's one of the big myths that you think sex has to be spontaneous. It's not going to be when you've got kids. So you set a nookie date. Friday night's the night. Lets you off the hook the rest of the nights. Yes. And you get prepared. So Friday
How did you decide to do this? What led you... Yeah, do the research, write the book. What stimulated your interest in doing this? Was it your own sex life?
It was realising that I did have a very good sex life and that other people didn't. And I sort of felt a bit sorry for them for that reason. And as a coach, it keeps coming up in topics all the time, and I'm surrounded by other parents. And they're all like, oh, you've got to be joking. You can't have a good sex life. I'm like, rubbish, of course you can. You can have better sex because you're a parent than you did beforehand. It becomes much deeper.
There are lots of tips in the book. I mean, one of them was if you've got a newborn baby and it wakes up when you're having sex, just bring it into the bed with you. I mean, it's not going to necessarily know what's going on.
I worry about that. No, I do. I worry about that. It's like this little face is kind of looking at you going, what's Daddy doing to Mummy? Backwards. You know, like, what is that? I don't know whether you can do incredible harm to a child by watching you have sex.
I don't think you can do it.
Well, it depends how old they are. I think it's more likely. I think the child will benefit better from picking up the happy vibes from its parents who are making beautiful love together than the negative vibe that it pick up from its parents who aren't getting any and are frustrated with it.
So many people I know have walked in on their parents that are now my age and they don't seem to have been bothered by it.
I walked in on my parents when I was 17 and I'll never forget my mother jumping out of bed and hiding behind the door blushing, and I must admit I was 17 and I still didn't know what they were doing.
Well, thank you very much, Jacqueline, for coming along and sharing some of your wonderful information with us. Now, stay with us for a special guest after the break, the most versatile man in showbiz, Weird Al Yankovic.
You know I'm back.